What's going on, guys? Greg again, and today I just want to go, as promised, over the second half of this main tab here. You have the sampler engine, and you have two options here. You can go sampler or the stretch option. I'm going to start off by explaining the sampler. You have the standard or the vintage. The standard is just the standard battery sample engine. It's great, does the job. The vintage is actually pretty cool. It emulates a couple different really vintage, I guess, drum samplers that are supposed to be pretty revered, legendary ones. I took the time to look up which ones exactly, and the S1200 is modeled after Emu's SP1200, and that had a really nice vinyl-esque tone, I guess, and that's why it was so revered. In the old hip-hop and electronic music community, and still is today. So the MPC 60, pretty much the same story, a nice lo-fi tone to it, a bunch of the greats in hip-hop and a lot of other genres have used these drum machines, and they put the emulations in battery, which is pretty cool. Just to give you an idea of what each one sounds like, this is the standard, and this is the vintage, I believe the SP low setting. Kind of nice, kind of gritty. Added a little bit of like exactly as they describe it, vinyl-y tone. And in here, if we go to stretch, actually, before we go over there, just to explain what DFD is. DFD stands for direct from disk. Now, I don't know fully the technical aspects behind it, but I guess if you select this, it's a way to play larger samples. Instead of loading everything onto RAM, it'll actually load some of it onto your RAM, which is your random access memory, and go retrieve a lot of it from the hard disk. But from what I was reading, that's kind of what happens anyway. So I guess this is just a setting for larger samples. I could be wrong. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a producer. So, yeah. Moving on. We're going to stretch now, and you got two modes in here, standard and pro. Standard gives you three options. Your grain, this is what this selects the size of the byte that it takes from your sample for resynthesis. So it is a sample of your sample that's getting resampled, and this just selects the size of that small little sample. This selects the speed, how fast you want to stretch the sample, or you can go down to 0% or all the way up to 800%, super fast or super slow. And smooth here, what it does is it adds granular micro envelopes. It selects the amount of them, and what those do is they help to smooth out and take away unwanted artifacts. If you've ever stretched a sample before, you know that if you stretch it too long, it can become really metallic-y. If you go too fast, it just becomes really, this is an effort to really try and hinder the negative side effects of stretching. Pro just offers you one knob, and that's a speed knob. So moving on here to the filter, you have a high cut and a low cut. Now these are just high pass and low pass filters. You can't change them, but you really don't need to. You can, in the other effects, select a little bit more of an in-depth EQ, but we'll get to that in another video. You have a one knob compressor over here, and the VMU meter shows you how much compression you're applying to your sound, and you have a couple different send options. These go to the master tab here where the reverb and delay live, and this just decides how much per cell you'd like to add. If you want to add delay or reverb, you can just turn these up and add as much as you want, add to taste. So hopefully this breaks down the main page, guys. In the next video, I'm going to get to the effects tab and start breaking that down for you. So hope you learned something. And as always, have a great day and happy producing.